It's the ultimate daydream, isn't it? A massive, life-changing amount of cash just lands in your lap. Maybe it's an inheritance, a lottery ticket, whatever. It's incredibly rare, but hey, it happens. But here's the real question. If it happened to you right now, would you be ready? Because what most people just don't get is how fast that dream can flip into a total nightmare. Let's break down exactly why that happens, and more importantly, how you can make sure it doesn't happen to you.
Okay, let's start with a really sobering number. Over 70%, that's 70, of lottery winners are completely broke again within just 3 to 5 years. Think about that. 70%. That's a huge number, and it tells you a really hard truth about coming into money all at once. So why? Why does this happen over and over again? Well, it's pretty simple, really. Most people who've never had to build wealth have absolutely no plan for managing it. They're excited to spend it, of course, but without a real strategy, that fortune just vanishes as fast as it showed up. And just like that, the dream becomes a total disaster. So how do you beat those odds, right? How do you end up in that 30% who not only hold on to the money, but make it last for generations? Well, that's what this is all about. Think of this as your playbook for survival. We're going to cover 4 key stages. First, the golden silence. Then, building your financial fortress. After that, managing your new world. And finally, and maybe most importantly, adopting the wealth mindset. All right, let's dive into the first phase. And honestly, it's the most critical one of all. This is all about immediate crisis management. What you do, and believe me, what you don't do in these first 6 months is going to set the tone for everything that comes after. So here is the immediate protocol, and you got to listen closely because some of these are going to feel totally wrong. First, and I can't stress this enough, say nothing to anyone. Your first instinct is to tell everybody, to shout it from the rooftops. Don't. Your privacy is your single greatest asset right now. Second, pay off every single penny of debt you have. Mortgages, credit cards, student loans, all of it. Then stop. No new spending. Third, do not quit your job. I know it's the first thing you want to do, but quitting is the first domino that leads to that spiral of overspending. And finally, you put that money somewhere safe and you don't touch it for 6 full months. You need that time to just breathe and process this life-altering change before you make a single big decision.
And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? You do not want to be the fool here. This quiet period, this golden silence, it isn't about doing nothing. It's about learning. You need to become financially literate to really understand how money works before you start making moves. You now have the luxury of time, so the very first investment you make should be in yourself.
Okay, so once that initial 6-month lockdown is over, the focus shifts. We move from playing pure defense to actively building a long-term structure, a fortress designed to protect and grow this new wealth for your kids and their kids and so on. Now, this right here, this is the absolute key to making the money last forever. You have to stop thinking of your fortune as a big pile of cash you can spend. Instead, think of it as a machine that generates cash for you. The whole goal is to invest that principal, that main sum, so it produces a nice, safe annual return. You live off that return, that 5%, let's say. But the original sum, the machine itself, you never, ever touch it. This is just the perfect way to think about it. Your capital, your principal, that's your money tree. And as long as you take care of that tree, it's going to give you fruit year after year after year. You can enjoy all the fruit you want, but the second you start chopping down that tree for a little temporary firewood, the whole system collapses. You have to protect the tree at all costs. So how do you actually build this fortress? Well, it starts with these really practical defensive moves. First, pay off the house you're in. But don't immediately go buy a mansion. A bigger house just means bigger taxes, bigger upkeep, bigger problems. Next, avoid buying a fleet of flashy cars. They're liabilities, not assets. They just lose money. Also, resist the urge to start your dream business. Look, 9 out of 10 new businesses fail, and you've already used up your one big lucky break. If you inherited the money, stick with the financial advisor who helped grow it in the first place. And finally, protect your children by setting up a trust. This makes sure they can benefit from the wealth without being able to accidentally destroy it. And now, we get to the hardest part. Truly. The financial stuff, you can learn that from a book, but figuring out how to navigate the social changes, the human element that comes with sudden wealth, that, my friend, is a whole different ballgame. This is the moment everyone with new money absolutely dreads, but I promise you, it is coming. People will ask for money for their business ideas, to pay off their debts, for their dreams. And what makes it so hard is that some will feel entitled to it because in their minds, you didn't really earn it the hard way. So, what do you do?
The reality of this is just brutal, and it really boils down to two options. Option A, you give them the money. What happens? Well, they will almost certainly lose it, and the friendship, the relationship, it's probably going down with it. Option B, you say no. And yeah, they might resent you for a while, they might be angry. But in that scenario, your family's financial future is still secure. It's a horrible choice between temporary approval and long-term security for your kids.
And it's not just friends and family. The more money you have, the bigger the target on your back becomes. You are now way more likely to get sued over little things. Scammers will come out of the woodwork. People will try to use emotional leverage to get a piece of your pie. Your old problems, your money problems, they might be gone, but a whole new set of more complex, more draining problems will absolutely take their place.
Which brings us to the final and, I'd argue, the most important piece of this whole puzzle. This isn't about spreadsheets or stock tickers. This is about the internal, psychological shift you have to make to become a true steward of wealth, not just someone temporarily holding a lot of cash. Here's the core advice, plain and simple. Play it safe. You're already in an incredibly lucky position. Don't risk it all on some shaky venture trying to double your money overnight. You've already won. The best thing you can possibly do is behave as if this incredible thing never happened, except for one difference. Magically, all that financial stress you used to have is just gone. You get to live your normal life just without the constant worry about money. Ultimately, everything we've talked about comes down to this one word, balance. That's the key. The law of averages is a powerful thing. For every huge swing of good luck in one direction, there's a pendulum that wants to swing all the way back in the other. By maintaining balance in your life, in your spending, in your mindset, you keep that pendulum from swinging back into total disaster.
And really, that's what it all comes down to. Sudden wealth presents you with a fundamental choice. It can be a tool that you use to build a secure, wonderful life for your family for generations to come. Or it can be this wild, uncontrollable force that takes over your entire life and leaves you with nothing but stories about what you used to have. The outcome isn't determined by the money.